All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Who Dats pod. I have a very special guest with me today. I have Saints offensive lineman Lewis Kidd with me here today. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How about you, man?
I'm doing good. Pretty chill day for me. No classes or anything like that, so it's a pretty
Love
good
it.
day.
Love to hear
Um,
it.
so I guess what have you been up to this off season? Uh, I know you mentioned you've been like training. Do you have like any hobbies outside of football that you like to do in like the off season, or have you mainly just been like focusing on training and just getting better?
Yeah, a little mix of both. It's good to have this time in the off season. That's the biggest thing. Hearing everybody from your rookie year saying that the rookie year is the longest. So, going from playing in the game, playing in season college, and then, doing like senior showcases and pro days, and then right into camp basically. So, seems like it was just nonstop last year. So to get this little break has for sure been nice. I've been able to stay, super. I've been able to stay really busy. It's been great being able to work out and stuff. I have a facility up here in Minnesota where I'm from,
Oh, no.
so I train there with a couple guys, um, and yeah, we get after it, and a couple of linemen and us, and we lift, we do field work, we do speed and agility stuff. So it's kind of a great routine we got, and then I've just kind of been doing a little bit of traveling. I went to Arizona for a week. Um, Went to Germany for 2 weeks. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
just kind of been enjoying the off time for sure.
That sounds like a pretty fun off season so far.
Yeah, it has
You
been.
mentioned like rookie years usually the longest. Did I know like during training camp and stuff they do like the rookie like hazing, they like carry all the equipment and stuff. Did you get any of that?
Yeah, I think the hazing term is kind of gone from at least our team, and from what I've talked to from other guys from most teams, just because it can get a little crazy sometimes. But there's definitely some duties. You got to kind of pay your dues as a rookie.
Hmm.
There are some days where I have to carry in some helmets or some pads. Make sure guys have towels in the locker room. Me and Trevor were, taking care of, snacks and food throughout the season and at camp and stuff. So making sure, our our room has a refrigerator full of waters and Gatorades for everybody. So nothing crazy, but really just kind of some housekeeping stuff that you kind of got to stay on top of, keep everybody happy.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like too bad. Like a few years ago, there was like footage or like the Saints like social media had like footage of like the rookies carrying like everyone's pads like back and forth and getting
Yeah.
all. So
Yeah.
it doesn't sound as bad as it used to be.
No, definitely not too bad. Especially, you kind of hear some horror stories from back in the day, but definitely, we were treated well, and it was basically just kind of you give what you get, or you get what you give. So, if you're respectful and you do the things that the older guys ask you to do, and make sure you're on top of that stuff, they're going to take care of you and make sure they're not if I'm taking care of towels all week and then one day I forget, they're not going to be on me and not they'll just be like, hey, don't forget the towels. Like, it's not going
Yeah,
to be that big of a deal. But you don't do it for weeks and weeks, and then they're going to kind of get after you a little bit more. So just
yeah.
kind of a respect thing. I look at it.
You mentioned like you trained in Minnesota with a few guys. Any of those like teammates or those like guys you like know like from growing up, or guys like currently playing college football at all? Or
Yeah. So couple guys. Sam Schluter, he played for the University of Minnesota. I know he started out with the 49ers this year preseason, and then I believe he finished with the Jets. And then let's see here, Zach Johnson. He played at NDSU. He's, I think, a year older than me, 2 years older than me, maybe. Um, and then he's bounced around a few teams. I think he most recently finished up with Tennessee. And then um, Chris Reed, who is an older guy. He plays for the Vikings currently right now. Um, a few other guys here and there. And then Cordell Volson, he's the starting left guard for the Bengals. So,
oh,
yeah, kind of a lot of Midwest guys, which is nice. And we kind of all grew up in the area a little bit.
that's good. That's good. Sounds like you're like pretty solid like group of guys like to train and work out with and all that during the off season.
For sure, yeah, it's a good group, and it's nice to be able to work with other offensive linemen throughout the off season for sure.
Yeah. I guess now we'll go from like off season to like how was like your first NFL season? Like any I just how was your first NFL season?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Super surreal. Every time you kind of sit back and realize, like, holy crap, I'm in the NFL. Like, I'm playing with these guys that I used to grow up watching, and I'm hanging out with these guys, and it's like, you're a part of it, and it's so awesome, and it's really nice to kind of accomplish. It's been a lifetime goal for me to make it here, and I'm here, and I don't want that dream to end. So it's just, it just gives me a lot of motivation to just keep pushing, keep grinding, keep getting better, so I can stick around for as long as I want to. But it was awesome. I know that the year didn't turn out the way we wanted it, but I learned a ton. I got to play a little bit. I got to help out in some areas. I got to learn a bunch of different positions, learn from some great coaches, some great players. So yeah, I have absolutely no complaints about the year at all. It was, for me, it was great.
Did you have like a? I know you went in a few times when like Pete got hurt. I think it was
Hmm.
the Seahawks or Bengals game, and then I think
Yes.
you split reps with Throckmorton and the Steelers. Did you have like a welcome to like the NFL moment, or were you just like kind of ready for it? Like you were just waiting for it and you wanted it. Like
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of the whole season was just kind of a welcome to the NFL moment. Nothing super crazy. Some stuff that I would make a mistake on that I would just ease. When you make a mistake, you kind of know what you did wrong, and then you see it in film, and you kind of break it down and kind of see where you need to correct and what you need to tweak and fix. But I mean, it was just in those games where I was playing, like it was the Bengals game, and then I think the Seahawks, I was doing a lot of jumbo stuff, so I was playing a decent amount there, and then like I got to start at the Steelers, and definitely just eye-opening experiences going against some of the best guys in the league, and specifically at the Steelers, being able to play against Cam Hayward, like that was an awesome, super surreal thing. So definitely tests you, and definitely kind of shows where you need to be at in order to play in this league. So definitely helpful experience.
did you have like any like nerves when like P got injured and you found out like all right I'm going in, or was it just like I'm ready for it, I've been prepared for it, it's like my moment kind of thing?
I mean, always prepared. That's kind of, the way they prepare us. Everybody's ready to go, so that's good, and I do appreciate that. But I think there might have been more nerves when I was told, I was going to get the start, compared to when someone goes down and you don't really have time to think, like,
Yeah,
okay, like, you know and obviously nerves are a part of it, and I don't think nerves are a bad thing necessarily, unless you let them overcome you. But
yeah,
definitely anytime I take the field, I've got a little bit of nerves, but I feel like I use them in a good way.
yeah. I mean, yeah, like you said, nerves are a good thing because that's normal. So
Right, right.
um in your first season you got to be a part of a London game. How was like that, like a whole week in London, like all the jet lag and like a 10-hour flight or something like that? How was like that experience for you?
Yeah, that was crazy too. That was a super awesome game to be a part of. I'd never been to Europe at that point, so that was super cool. And yeah, it was just a super cool experience. The game was awesome. I mean, obviously not the finish we wanted, but really surreal playing against a team that I grew up. That was my team. I was a Vikings fan my whole life, and being able to go in and play against them and playing a big game like that. I mean, the stadium was awesome. I swear to God, the seats were like all the way up to the ceiling. Like, it was just so many people, and so many people excited to watch football, which is super crazy. And it was just wild. It was a ton of fun and a great experience overall.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was great to like be there and experience it and all that. And then where I'm in California now, I think I was like watching the game at like 6 in the morning because like all
Yeah,
the time change and stuff. But it was
that
definitely like
was that was definitely weird. That was definitely like they did a good job of, kind of giving us the kind of like a ready list of when we went to travel after Carolina of kind of, here's when you should sleep, here's when you should, maybe take a melatonin to try to get some extra rest. Here's when you should be up just to kind of stay off of, or to kind of stay on your sleep cycle and not get super badly jet lagged. And I think it worked for most people. So I was appreciative of that for sure.
Did that like whole week you guys were there? Did that help? At obviously, like it helped a little bit, but like were guys like still like playing, thinking, or like their bodies were like still on like 7 a.m. for them kind of thing, or do you think like most of the guys like
I
were
think
kind of
I think
adjusted?
I think most of the guys adjusted, and I think everybody was kind of, I think that week was good for us. I think it was, if I were running a team, I think I would want to do the week there because, you get that grogginess out at the beginning of the week, and then you kind of get a chance to kind of get acclimated. So I liked it. I enjoyed it. And I think other guys did too.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier like you were learning like multiple positions in like coming out of college. You'd play like both guard and tackle. Um, was there like one like the Saints like coaches like wanted you to primarily focus on, or was it like they wanted you to learn like both guards, both tackle positions, and um, just kind of be like a flexible player for them?
Yeah, I came in. That's kind of where I made my money in college, was just being able to play all over and play where I was needed. And so I think they knew that bringing me in. I believe they knew that I could do a couple different positions. So started out just doing right tackle and kind of getting the hang of that, and then I think kind of towards the start of the season, and then getting towards the middle of it, they were like, all right, let's try to flip this dude around. Let's try to see, if he can play guard, if he can play right side, if he can play left side, left tackle, all that stuff. And then towards the end of the season, I can't remember which week, but one of the last couple weeks, I got a chance to play center for like 2 weeks, so that was cool. Did a decent job. Still a lot of stuff to work on there because I've never actually played that one, but I've been working on that a lot this off season, and so yeah, just really trying to be a flexible guy, trying to just rise my stock for myself, I guess, in a sense. Want to be a guy that can step in and play at any position and help the team in any way I can. So the way I look at it as an offensive lineman, that's being able to play all five. So um, I'm looking forward to that. It's a little difficult sometimes, but I'm kind of mentally prepared for it. I think I was mentally prepared for it last year. So just kind of working it all and trying to get better in each area for sure.
Yeah, I mean that flexibility on the offensive line is a great quality to have in a player. The Saints value those kind of players. They always seem to have a few of those guys every year.
Yeah.
Um, what was I gonna? Oh, what is it like hard learning like every single like play at a different position, or is it like kind of essentially the same? It's just like flip to the other side kind of thing. And then I know center is a
Um.
little bit different and
Yeah.
guard.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little difficult. There's definitely some stuff that some techniques that a tackle uses that a guard might not necessarily. But at the end of the day, when you boil it down, it's very similar. Um, I would say the hardest thing is just flipping sides, not from a play standpoint, because I mean, once you know the play, you kind of know what's happening on at every spot. And then, but physically, it's just kind of when you're used to setting out of a right hand stance and your right foot's back, and you kind of have a certain way you brace and you punch, and then they tell you to flip over left, and now you're completely flipped, and it's like doesn't feel as comfortable, doesn't feel as natural. So it takes guys a little bit longer to kind of get a good feel and get a good comfort level for that type of stuff. So it's just definitely something you got to work through. But guys do it all the time, so I'm trying to be one of those guys.
Yeah, for sure. Did like any of like the like veteran guys like Ramchek or like Pete Ruiz isn't like a veteran yet, but he's had a few years in the league. Did they like kind of help at all, or was like coaching like was like the main focus point for you learning from like coaches or
Oh no, I got a ton of help from all those guys. I mean, obviously Strief and Marone were always working with me, which was great. Because I think sometimes rookies can kind of get put by the side. They're worried about starters, and
Mhm.
you don't get as many reps and all that stuff, which is true to an extent. But I think Doug and Strief did a great job of bringing the rookies along and kind of developing the young guys and all that stuff, which I really appreciated it. And then all the guys, even the guys that weren't starting, even the guys, whether it was Ramchek or Pete or whatever, Hurst, like all those guys were helping me in some way, shape, or form at some point in time. So it's kind of always super great to have those guys in the room because just allowed me to kind of pick their brain. And I'm sure I'm just kind of the annoying young guy asking a bunch of questions, but they would always answer. They'd always try to help me as best they can, show me how they watch film, show me what they're looking for, talk to me about different techniques that work for them or what helped them, or all that little tiny stuff that makes every player unique. It's definitely interesting and fun to kind of see and implement some of those things in your own game and see what works and see what doesn't. And then, like I said, just picking their brain and being able to kind of have those guys has been truly awesome.
That's great to hear that like the veteran guys are helping out. They're not just kind of like brushing off rookies and stuff like
Right.
that. You mentioned Zach Strief. How much did he help? And then obviously he's now with the Broncos. So like how is that like a pretty big loss to like the offensive line room, coaching staff?
Yeah, I think Zach Strief's a super smart guy, a great coach. I think anytime you lose a guy like that, it's tough for sure. It's definitely a hit, but super happy for him. He's totally earned it, totally deserves it. Super smart guy, knows ball really well. Really excited to see what he does in Denver, but yeah, it's a loss. But Coach Marone's a great guy, and we're adding in new additions and new assistants and all that stuff. And I think we've got a veteran group that can kind of help and coach each other, like I said, as well. So I think it's a mutually beneficial thing for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm happy for him, and he helped out a ton throughout the season, especially when I was starting out at tackle for those first few weeks. Learned a lot, learned a whole bunch from him about tackle stuff and kind of where I need to be at for tackle and all that stuff. And then once I kind of shifted into the interior, I wasn't working as much directly with him, but he was still a huge help. And again, another guy that helped with, breaking down film. I was able to pick his brain, how I should watch film, how I should watch opponents, what am I looking for, all that stuff. So definitely a big help in my development for sure.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. I think they hired Jahri Evans into his
Yes,
role. I
did see that
believe
as
he
well.
was like helping out, but he wasn't like a coach last off season. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm. Did you get to work with him as much as you did like Strief? Or I know Evans was like working with like Ruiz a lot, and so I
Hmm.
was just kind of curious if you got any like work with him. And
Yeah, I mean, a little bit here and there. But again, that was kind of like the beginning of the season, and I was pretty much set at tackle. And Jahri was definitely working with the interior guys a little bit more. So I'm looking forward to getting a chance to work with him closer this year for sure.
yeah, I believe you were the only undrafted free agent to make the Saints like initial roster, and then like when injuries and stuff happened, Rashica he got brought up, and I think someone else did. But how did that feel like going like undrafted and like making the team the 53-man roster and just getting some special team snaps to like going in for injured guys and then getting like a start?
Yeah, no, I mean, super awesome. Again, part of the kind of surrealness of the whole season, and I didn't really put a whole lot of thought into oh, I'm gonna be the guy that makes it, or I just put my head down and went to work. I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to put whatever I could on the table, and kind of leave it up to God and leave it up to you know uh, fate, I guess, in a sense, and see where I'm at after I worked my butt off throughout all of this. And I was very happy with the results, of course,
Yeah.
and super excited and it was awesome. It was truly awesome, almost unbelievable. And then didn't really even have much time to kind of think about it, and we were just already starting games and stuff. So it just kind of became like, you know, that's what I got used to. That's what I got accustomed to, and um, I'm looking forward to increasing that role and becoming a guy that the Saints and the offensive line can trust to be a guy, to be a staple in the offense for sure.
Yeah, I think you can definitely do it and be a guy who starts within the next season or two, depending on like injuries and all that. Um, Changing pace a little bit, the Saints signed Derek Carr. And what are your thoughts about that? Because well, like everyone has like thoughts about like players getting signed, but he's a quarterback that's like the biggest position in all of football. So, what are your thoughts on like the Saints bringing in Derek Carr?
Yeah, I think it's an awesome addition. He's a great quarterback. Um, Super excited to work with him, and I've heard only good things from people that have played with them and people that he's been around. So he seems like a great guy. I haven't met him yet. I'll meet him here in a couple weeks when we report. But yeah, he seems like a great guy, and I know from his play that he's the real deal. So I think that's a great addition for us, and definitely a great offensive weapon to have along with our others.
And one last final question: do you have like a favorite part about New Orleans, or just the city, anything like that?
Yeah, I love the people. It's definitely a lot of people from different walks of life, and it's diverse. But the fan base, man, it's awesome. I mean, everybody's so passionate, loyal fans, and I really appreciate that. So um, definitely something you want to be a part of for a long time.
Yeah, um, yeah, the fans are awesome. Like they're everywhere too. So,
Yeah, for
um,
sure.
well, I appreciate you joining the show today. I know you're busy. I don't want to keep you too long, so I appreciate you responding, willing to like talk and stuff like this. It means a lot.
For sure, man. And thank you again. And glad I can help you. And I'm sure we'll be in touch soon.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you.
All right. You have a good one.
You too.